It's already a 10-1 lead for Jason Nolf, and he ends it. The pin for Jason Nolf comes early in this one. It took just a minute and 7 seconds. Zane Rutherford, you mentioned that win streak 79 straight. Looking to make it 80, and he's in good shape right now, out to a 12-5 lead. Rutherford now looking for the turn. Something he's done plenty of. Rutherford third in falls in Penn State history with 49. There's 50. The strength, sheer strength from Jason Nolf. Can he turn it into a pin?
Roll him over just a bit more. The shoulder blade. There it goes.
Yes, he can. 2 straight pins for the Nittany Lions. This one from Jason Nolf. Just a few weeks remain in the regular season, but tonight Big Ten wrestling continues in Happy Valley. It's Michigan State and Penn State here in Rec Hall. Hello everyone, welcome inside. Brandon Pelter with Ben Jenkins, and Ben, Penn State coming off of a huge 28-9 win over Ohio State. Michigan State in their own right, they've won 5 straight, but these teams on 2 very different levels. 141 pounds. Nick Casella, Nick Lee. The do battle here, Penn State a 9-0 lead early on, taking 125 pounds by forfeit, and Corey Keener an 8-3 win over Justin Patrick.
Good match there from Keener to round out his Penn State dual career here on senior day. Really scrappy. Justin Patrick showing nice defensive moves there, trying to roll through a few times, but you saw Keener finally being aware of it at the end and able to turn into points for himself.
Quick 2 for Nick Lee.
Similar move to Keener there, be able to go low on the ankle pick and scoot around the hips and bring him down. Nice move there from Lee to start.
Nick Casella, transfer from Maryland, from Bayville, New York. Nick Lee out to this 4-1 lead, 21-4 this season from Evansville, Indiana. The true freshman had the red shirt pulled just after a successful Southern Scuffle, taking 2nd place. And at 7 Tech Falls this season, good for 10th in the country for the true freshman in a very deep 141-pound class.
Yeah, absolutely. He has also quietly, he's had some great match wins, but quietly had a nice year this year, 21-4, record 7-1 in Big Ten duels, and has just been a really solid wrestler. Not someone who's going to make a whole lot of mistakes. You see right now he's just really fundamental on top. Got the legs in now, trying to get something going in terms of a cradle here for back points, but some very smart wrestler for a young wrestler.
Nick Lee working hard on top for the turn here.
Looks like he's got to try and put a bar in on the right side there. Doesn't have it quite yet. Going to reset and try to go for something else. Puts the legs back in so that way he can't build, Casella can't build a base to get up, but he's going to cut him loose.
And quickly back in on the single. 2 more for Nick Lee. An 8-3 lead here in the first period. Still 40 seconds left to wrestle in the first. And nearly 2 minutes of riding time already for the true freshman, Nick Lee.
Just having his way here with Casella, and gets the takedown. He'll try a little bit, see if he can get on something on top, and not, he'll just cut him loose and go back down for 2 more points. Try to get some bonus points here early on for the Nittany Lions. Looks like he's going for that bar again. Got the hand back. Casella doing a good job being tough on bottom.
Stall warning called on Casella. And Lee with an opportunity here. Back points, short time here in the first period, 5 seconds left. And Lee will have to settle for 4 near fall points, extending that lead 12-3 after the first period.
A little bit of a dangerous move there. He kind of just pulled Casella back on top of him there, almost in a dangerous position, but luckily able to keep wiggling through and get Casella down on his shoulder blades there for back points. But the move pays off. Now up by 9 here. Start the second.
We've seen it plenty from Penn State wrestlers. They're not even really content with a technical fall, and that's why we're going to continue to see Nick Lee. He can get more takedowns, try to go for the tilt.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's, you know, we always talk about the competition with bonus points and trying to get the most bonus points. It seems to be the way to motivate here. I mean, obviously, so many of these matches end up getting lopsided, so there has to be something from Coach Sanderson that you have to promote, and bonus points is one of the good ways to do it. It's here, Lee going back for a third time on that bar. Arm squirts out there and try to go back for it again. Hasn't been able to walk it around yet. Now seeing a little bit. Shoulder looking to move a little bit. Watch for a stall call here on Casella.
Starting to get the turn. More back swipes for Nick Lee. Plenty of time. Just under a minute in the second period. Closing in on the pin.
They need to get him turned a little bit more. Still only has one shoulder on the mat there. Lee just a bit out of position there, just a little too far forward. Able to reset now, might be able to get it here if he can just get it a little bit farther back.
30 seconds left for Lee in this second period. A 10-point lead, holding on to back points, and he doesn't need them. Add 6 for Nick Lee.
Good persistence there from Lee. Was a little far forward on the bar. Finally on the third attempt, able to walk it around. Had it, got back points. You see him kept trying to sit back on his hips there a little bit, but finally able just to rock it back just enough to get the two shoulder blades on the ground for the pin.
15-0. Penn State out ahead of the Bulls of Buffalo. And Buffalo's got a little more trouble coming their way with Zane Rutherford.
And it's going to be another tough one here. Nick Palumbo coming up for the Bulls, another guy who has had a tough go at it this year. But seems anyone that's going to come into the mat against Rutherford is going to have a tough go at it no matter who you are. Saw last week in the match against Iowa, Sorensen having a tough time with Rutherford as well.
Nick Palumbo and first-ranked Zane Rutherford on the mat. It takes Rutherford all of 14 seconds to collect 2 points here. His final match in Rec Hall in a Nittany Lions singlet.
And a storied career at that, listening to the PA announcer going through all of Zane Rutherford's accomplishments earlier, talking about the multiple national championships, the Hodge Trophy Award from last year, academic honors, different records in terms of wins and pins and bonus points. You name it, Zane Rutherford is in the books for it.
Rutherford so far this season, 15 pins. Teammate Jason Nolf also has 15. He's done it in shorter time, though. So as second place, Zane third in the country. The leader is Hofstra's Mike Hughes. 15 falls in just under 30 minutes of time. To put that into context, Rutherford has 15 pins in 46 minutes, 26 seconds.
Just a dominant wrestler out here, seeing so far, having his way early, be able to get 2 takedowns early against Palumbo, and Rutherford goes at it again.
Powering Palumbo down with the double, 6-2, and now trying to connect the bow and arrow.
Classic Zane Rutherford move here, just bowing him over and rolling him on, getting the back points, and if he can just get himself set back a little bit more, should be able to get both shoulder blades on the ground.
Minute and 10 seconds left in this first period. Plenty of time for Zane Rutherford. He'll settle for 4 near fall points and a 10-2 lead here. The final minute of the first period, the quick escape for Palumbo. Zane Rutherford, 51 career pins, third all-time in Penn State history behind David Taylor and Josh Moore, who each have 53.
Going back to that cradle move there from Rutherford on Palumbo. Palumbo doing a nice job of wrestling through it there, being able to get his hands on Rutherford's wrist and break the lock free.
Zane Rutherford, you mentioned the Hodge Trophy winner last year, and another prime opportunity this year as well. It was really him and Jason Nolf, teammates, and Nolf injured a few weeks ago against Rutgers. Haven't seen him since and will not see him until at least the Big Ten tournament in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Coach Cale Sanderson talking about when he got hurt against Rutgers that he would most likely be back for the postseason wrestling. Seemed pretty confident about that, so good to see that, and has been progressing along nicely in terms of his recovery here as we start.
Nolf led Penn State out onto the mat, not on crutches, jogged out with the team. So all indications say he's looking good for the Nittany Lions, and that's big postseason. Jason Nolf, we all know what he can do, one of the most lethal wrestlers, most creative wrestlers in the country, along with some teammates, Zane Rutherford, Bo Nickel up there as well.
Yeah, and we saw how difficult it was to beat a team like Ohio State when Nolf wasn't in there. It came down to the final match with Kyle Snyder and Nick Neville. So having that strong spot in the middle is really important when you get into the big tournaments later on.
And 2 more near fall points for Zane Rutherford, a 16-3 lead. And again, to lock in the bow.
Trying again, bringing that ankle around there, and he's got him turned, going to get more points here.
Doesn't look like Rutherford wants near fall points here. Closing in on more, and he gets 6 more. Zane Rutherford, one of the best in the nation, and we just saw why. Penn State ahead 21-0, and Rutherford finishes his career in Rec Hall the same way it's ended many a times, with his 52nd career pin.
Went back to it again. That arrow moved third time back to it, and finally able to sit back on his legs enough to get it through. You saw the first 2 times, a little far out in front, not chest to chest with Palumbo. Finally able to sit back enough and get the shoulder blades on the mat.
Penn State up 21-0, 157 pounds is coming up next.